I'm going to be doing something very big today. This huge pot over here, I'm going to be using to repot my mad brag in the back over there. It has started to grow and grow quite a lot because it's starting to now pop out. So I think it's the perfect time to repot this bad boy. Something else that I've noticed is now the roots at the top or the surface of the plant are now starting to push through. If I pull the plant out, I'm going to try to give you a quick sneak peek back there to show you what I can see. Now there's quite a lot of plants here that I need to dig through to pull this plant out. There's also a new leaf over here. I don't want to talk too loudly because with Anthuriums, you breathe in a certain way and the leaf will just get damaged. I'm going to be really, really careful with this one. Probably should wait a little bit longer, but I think now is the time. Let's get into it. If you look through here, you can see there's a new leaf emerging just there. And there's also quite a lot of roots. If I stick my hand through and get rid of this plastic wrap, you can see that's a root. That's a root right there that's pushing through. And there's quite a few more. So there's a lot of activity happening with this plant. And I think it's time for a repot. So you can see exactly what I'm dealing with. I need to sort this plant out before it's too late. Right, so that was quite something. I finally got the plant out. I had to pretty much move all of the plants from that shelf just to get to this one. Might be a little bit out of breath. Fortunately, there's no better position that I can think of to unpot this plant because it's not going to fit on the table, and it's certainly, yeah, it's just too wild to do anything else with. So yes, please excuse the mess, but let's appreciate this leaf. This is not the newest leaf. This is the newest leaf, as you can see and appreciate here. But this one is the one that came out just before. Just look at the size of this. The thing is larger, longer than my arm. It's absolutely huge. Oh, you can see why this will always be my favorite plant in my collection, right? Look at it. Look at it. It's just phenomenal. So what I'm thinking, instead of having the plant sitting right at the top, which would mean that I would probably hit the ceiling a lot quicker, especially with the plant being on this shelf behind me, I might place it in maybe about halfway up. That way I have a lot of space, probably a couple of years before I have to repot this plant again. And that was the purpose for this planter actually. What I've done, I've gone ahead and I have drilled in some holes at the bottom of the pot. You can see lots and lots of holes, and just one on this side here, just to act as a bit of a drain as well. I noticed that sometimes when I fill up the reservoir, I can tell that the water's building up inside the pot, but it's not coming out into the cash bowl. So I've made a little hole here just so that that process could be a little bit easier. I'll tell you what though, I'm sweating. I really am. Oh, well, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to take all this moss off. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I can see several little growth points. So that's a growth point right here. There's another one over here as well. We've removed most of the moss. I don't think what's left will impact the plant negatively. I always like to give the plant a little bit of a squeeze. Ugh, it's quite heavy. So what I'll do is I'll just try to dump out most of the pon. Yeah. Okay. Oh goodness, wow. Okay. This is really a workout, I must admit. Oh my days. So sorry about that, guys. I wanted to show you the whole process, but unfortunately I needed all hands on deck. This was a lot harder than I thought. The roots were really clinging on to the other pot, so I needed the help of my camera woman to help me with that. So anyway, so what we're going to do now is just start to backfill. I've washed all of my leca. It's a leca and pond mix that I'm using, just because this is a bit more of an economical, a bit cheaper basically. Pour this on. Whilst I'm doing this, I'm trying to make sure I'm not damaging any of the new growth. Now, to make sure that the pond is filling up all of the air gaps, give it a little bit of a tap on the side. Okay. fill some more. Direct the pon over the roots. You can see what I'm trying to do is just get a nice layer, cover up all of the roots. Again, give the pot a bit of a tap. Encourage all of the substrate down into the air pockets, into the air gaps. So I think we've done the hardest part now. The plant is repotted. What I now need to do is place it back to its forever home pretty much, and just give it a good flush, just a once through. Try to get rid of as much debris as possible. The reason why I want to get rid of the dust is because it can really just clog the roots, just really hang on to it, creates a thick mud-like texture. And the reason why pon works so well is because it lets your roots breathe. It gives it access to oxygen. And if you have lots of dirt and really fine particles in there, then it just really undoes all of the great work that the pon and leca does. So that's done. I'm sweating, my back is hurting. I know my camera lady is also feeling it as well. Okay, so here we go. This is the plant all potted up and back in its spot. It's still sprawling out a little bit more than I would like. I'm trying to figure out a way to get this leaf here to sort of push back a little bit, but I don't want to damage this new one which is coming out, so I'm just being really careful with that. But I think for now it will do, and I think it's looking quite good. It's looking quite good. I thought it was going to be a lot taller than it is now. However, I'm quite happy with the way that's looking. This thing is just such a beast. What am I going to do with it? 2 weeks later, and as expected, this new leaf has some damage on it. You can see here where there was a bit of trauma. As I said, you breathe too hard and the leaf will be damaged, let alone the amount of work this leaf experienced when we were going through this repot. So ignore that. That's just some beneficial insects preventative. But yes, it's still doing well. On the inside there, our new leaf is still going strong, looking really, really good. And we also have another inflorescence coming. So all in all, apart from our damaged leaf, which as I said was expected, the plant has settled in quite well and continues to grow and give out an inflorescence. But that's it. And as always, keep planting.